Welcome to the 2014 Intramural Flag Football Captains video as a part of the Intramural Sports program at the University of Iowa. This video will teach you about intramural sports rules and regulations as well as flag football specific rules of the sport for the upcoming season. Viewing of this video is not mandatory, but failure to watch this video is not a viable excuse for not knowing program rules and regulations or sport rules and regulations. First, we want to talk to you about a way for you to get your money back. To do that, if you have 75% of your team complete this online confidential alcohol assessment, that's your team's final roster, you will receive, as captain, a refund of the team's entry fee. That refund will be processed to your university bill as captain, and those refunds will be processed following the end of the playoffs. Details for this, as well as instructions to how to send the verification to the Intramural Sports program, can be found on the Intramural Sports website. The director of the Intramural Sports program is Tommy Shore, and graduate assistants are Drew Dunlay, Clint Angus, and Taylor Ulrich. We have 9 student supervisors in addition to the administrative staff for Intramural Sports, and you can see their names and their pictures there. If at any time you have any questions about Intramural Sports or flag football while you are out participating, or any sports in general, find one of these folks in their Intramural Sports polos, jackets, or name tags, and they will be more than happy to help you out and answer your questions. Some responsibilities we have for you as team captain are to make sure your teammates are eligible, and to make sure your teammates know sport and program rules and regulations. Again, you not passing along this information or them just not knowing is not a viable excuse for violating these rules and regulations. And if we need to contact you for any reason from the Intramural office, we will use you as our team contact. Some rules changes for this year. If you've played in the past, these will be new to you. If you haven't played in the past, these will be brand new to you. But players may be added to a team roster up until 15 minutes prior to scheduled game time. Previously, there's a midday roster deadline. Now it is 15 minutes prior to the scheduled game time. The players can be added to the roster on imleagues.com. When you are on the roster and you go to play and check in, you may check in with either a state-issued ID or a University of Iowa ID card. There's no longer a team t-shirt requirement, so your team will not have to select a team color during registration. We will provide pennies. You may still provide your own team t-shirts, and there's a Champion brand t-shirt incentive later on in this slideshow. But if you don't want to spend the money on those t-shirts, we will provide pennies for your team to wear. If you do decide to wear t-shirts, make sure all your team members are in the same color. Otherwise, you will have to wear the pennies provided by our program. Women may play on either a men's team or a powder puff team, but not on both. So if you are a female and you want to play on a men's team, you're more than welcome to, but that disqualifies you from being eligible to participate on a powder puff team. And finally, forfeit fines will no longer be refunded. imleagues.com is our registration website, which you are somewhat familiar with, having found this video and making it to this point in registration. On this webpage, we include league announcements. You can add players to your roster and manage your roster. You can find schedules once registration is closed, and we have posted schedules. You can find sport and rules information sheets for other sports in our intramural program. And to do that, you simply hover over the sport icon on the left of the home page on that sport on imleagues.com. Click the handbooks and manuals link, and you can find information about any of our sports for this semester in the Intramural Sports program. And once the season gets going, you can find updated standings and brackets on imleagues.com. In addition to imleagues.com, there is a new Rec-It mobile app that is Rec*It if you want to search it on your smartphone. This is the official mobile app of imleagues.com. Once you're registered for flag football and schedules are made, you can communicate with your teammates through this app, get real-time updates from the intramural staff, and you can check your schedules and scores and things like that on this app. So I encourage you to download this app. Again, Rec*It is what you will search on your smartphone. Sportsmanship is a priority of ours in the intramural sports program. All participants are expected to display good sportsmanship, and any participant who doesn't do this or who participates in a fight will be suspended from all recreational activities for at least 1 calendar year, and any fighting incidents will be reported to the Dean of Students' office for possible further university sanctions. If you were to be ejected from an intramural contest, the ejected player is required to have a meeting with the intramural staff along with you as the team captain. The ejected participant is ineligible to participate until after the meeting, and the ejected participant is suspended at least 1 additional game. The captain is also suspended until at least the time of the meeting. Each game, officials will rate teams on a scale of 1 to 4 in regards to their sportsmanship. Both teams will start each game at a 2.5 rating, and you can work your way up to a 4, which is excellent if you are good sports, or you can work your way down into a 1 or a 2, which is poor sportsmanship. If you receive a 2 or a 1, you will be notified via email, and if it's a 1, you as team captain will have to come in and have a sportsmanship meeting with the intramural administrative staff. Your team must maintain a 2.5 or better sportsmanship average to be eligible for the playoffs, and must maintain that throughout the playoffs in order to stay in the bracket. Some people have sportsmanship issues when they don't intend to. Please remember that perception is reality when it comes to a team sportsmanship. How you address an official can go a long ways in determining how that official perceives your sportsmanship. Remember, an official perceives your interaction in a certain way. A lot of times they're on the defense when they step out onto the field because of the culture of yelling at officials and degrading them and things like that. So make sure you go above and beyond in your interactions with officials. Some examples of good and bad include: good, sir, ma'am, tell me what you saw in that play so I can try to avoid doing it again. A bad example: how is that a foul? You're attacking their call right away as opposed to learning how you can do better. Another example of good interaction: sir, ma'am, what did I do wrong there? We teach our officials to give you an explanation, and we want you to understand what the penalty or foul was that they called. A bad example: are you kidding me? That's terrible. Things along those lines. Games are officiated by student intramural officials, and they are trained by our intramural staff. Some of them are certified in football by the Iowa High School Athletic Association, the Iowa City Athletic Officials Association, or some other national organizations, that we do expect you to treat the officials with the same respect you expect to receive from them during the game. If you are interested in being an official, we have several meetings upcoming in September that you can attend to get the process started. It's a great job. We love hiring new people. The first thing you need to do is attend a rookie meeting on Monday, September 1st at 5 p.m. if you've never been an official for us before. That is in E220 Fieldhouse. And then right after that at 6 p.m. in E220 Fieldhouse, we start our flag football rules training. And that continues on to Tuesday, September 2nd at 6:30. We have on-field training, positioning, mechanics, things like that. And then we give you a chance to officiate some scrimmages, apply what you've learned on Thursday, September 4th at 6:30 p.m. at the Hawkeye Recreation Fields. If you've never officiated for intramural sports before, you must attend the rookie officials meeting. If you have, you must attend the veteran officials meeting. If you can't attend one of those, contact us. We will have video that you can come in and watch to make up for those missed meetings. Now to some more things about your team for intramural flag football. Like we talked about, you can add players to your team until 15 minutes prior to your quarterfinal game. So throughout the season and throughout playoffs until the quarterfinal round, you can add players to your roster up until 15 minutes prior to your team's game to be eligible to play that night. As team captain, we need you to check your imleagues.com roster frequently to make sure your roster is current and has no errors. If there are players listed as ineligible that should be eligible, we need to know that in the intramural staff so we can figure out what went wrong and make sure they are eligible to play in the upcoming game. If you need to drop a player for any reason, you can fill out a player drop request form, which is available on our website on imleagues.com outside the office, and you submit that to our roster drop box outside our office in E216 Fieldhouse, or you can scan it and email it to the Intramural sports staff. For flag football, there are 7 players on the field at a time for men's and powder puff, and for co-rec that number is 8, with the co-rec gender requirements being 4 men and 4 women at a time. A team may begin with as few as 5 players for men's and powder puff, with that number being 6 for co-rec, and you can see those gender requirements there: 3 men, 3 women, 4 men, 2 women, 2 men, and 4 women are the combinations that will be able to get a game started. Who is eligible to play on your teams? That includes University of Iowa students, faculty, and staff members, as well as spouses and legally married partners, but they must play on the same team as their eligible partner or spouse. So if my wife wanted to play on my co-rec flag football team, she can, but she cannot play on her own on a powder puff flag football team. A player may represent one team in the men's or powder puff division and one team in the co-rec division. So you can play on a total of 2. Once a player enters a game on a second men's or powder puff team or a second co-rec team, that player is ineligible for the remainder of the season, and any teams with ineligible players on the roster will forfeit any game or games in which that player participated. So make sure you're checking that and make sure everybody's good to go, then we won't have an issue with that. Intercollegiate athletes cannot participate on an intramural team in a related sport, so Iowa football players cannot play on your intramural flag football team. And former Division I athletes must sit out 2 full semesters, a full semester being from start of classes to the end of finals week, and must sit out 2 full semesters from their sport in order to compete in a related intramural sport. When you get your roster set up, it's time to play. You will check in with, again, a state-issued or university-issued ID card, photo ID, prior to each game out at the Hawkeye rec fields, and you will check in with the officials on your field. If you do not bring an ID, you will not be able to play. There are no exceptions to this rule, so please, captains, remind all your players to bring a state-issued or university-issued ID for every game. At the same time they're checking IDs, officials will check for metal cleats, as those are not legal, and they will check for shorts and pants with pockets, as those are also illegal to be worn for safety reasons. If anybody is caught misusing an ID or using an ID that is not yours, you are subject to suspension from intramural sports, and we also reserve the right to discipline the individual supplying the ID as well as the team captain. These incidents will also be reported to the Dean of Students' office, as this is a violation of the UI Student Code of Conduct. When you're scheduled to play a game, if you're not there and ready to play within 10 minutes of the scheduled game time, you will forfeit. We don't want this to happen, so there is a forfeit fine assessed with any forfeits that happen in our leagues. The captain of a forfeiting team will be fined half the registration fee, which for intramural flag football is $45. This forfeit fine will not be refunded. To avoid a forfeit, you know you have a conflict, a bunch of your teammates have a conflict, you're all going to be out of town, whatever the case may be, you can avoid a forfeit by letting us know in advance that you need to forfeit. So, if you do that the first time, thanks for letting us know. We can contact the officials, tell them they don't need to show up. We can contact the other team, do the same thing, and we appreciate you letting us know ahead of time. The second time it happens, there will be a fine assessed of 25% of the registration fee cost, as we want these games to happen, as well as the opponents want these games to happen too. So we schedule these, we put these together with the intent that they will happen. If they don't, we have procedures to hopefully prevent that. And if there's a third default, the captain is fined 50% of the registration fee cost. Defaults must be declared by 2 p.m. on weekdays and 7 a.m. on weekends to our graduate assistant, Drew Dunlay. Email address andrew-dunlay@uiowa.edu, or you can call the Intramural Sports Office phone line before that deadline and let us know of the default, and we will mark it down. If you're out playing and there's a misinterpretation or misapplication of a rule, a 10-yard penalty, should have only been a 5-yard penalty, something like that, you can protest. To do that, you must call a timeout immediately, and the officials will bring over the sports supervisor on duty to make a ruling. If you disagree with this ruling, you can submit a written protest along with $5 to the Intramural Sports office by noon the following business day. If your protest is upheld and you are correct, you will receive a refund of that $5. We will go back and play the rest of the game from the point at which it was protested. If you are wrong, the game will stand as was completed the previous night. Remember that no judgment calls may be protested. Once registration is complete, team schedules will be posted on imleagues.com by Thursday, September 4th, and games will begin on Sunday, September 7th. Games will be played at the Hawkeye Recreation Fields on Sunday afternoon and evenings, as well as Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. If you live in a residence hall or on campus, you don't have a car, you can get to the fields by taking the Hawkeye Interdorm CAN bus route. Be sure to check the CAN bus website for the times that it picks up near you, but it drops off out at the Hawkeye Recreation Fields, so make sure to find out that bus information if you need to. If there's inclement weather, you're unsure whether or not games will be happening, you can call the Rainout Hotline 319-353-3000, extension 2, to find out if games are postponed or if we are playing, depending on the field conditions. The decisions will be made by 3 p.m. on weekdays and 12 p.m. on Sundays. Like I talked about before, league standings will be updated on imleagues.com. The top 3 teams in all men's open, fraternity, and residence hall divisions will qualify for the men's A playoffs, and the 3rd place team will advance to the men's B playoffs. And in Powder Puff and Co-Rec, the top 3 teams in each division will advance to that respective playoff bracket. Once we have concluded the regular season, we will have a Buffalo Wild Wings playoff draw event at Buffalo Wild Wings in downtown Iowa City. At this event, each captain will select his or her team's position in the playoff bracket, and priority selection will be given to those with the highest sportsmanship rating, followed by win percentage. If you don't send a representative to this Buffalo Wild Wings playoff draw event, you will be randomly assigned to the bracket the next day, and you will forfeit the privilege to reschedule a first-round game. The tentative date for this is Wednesday, October 15th. That could change depending on the weather we get throughout the fall and how much we need to postpone. But the tentative date is Wednesday, October 15th. This is also a fundraiser for our Intramural Sports program, so we encourage you to attend and help give back to the Intramural Sports program so we can make it better for you. As we talked about before, pockets on shorts and pants are not allowed. This is a safety issue with people reaching for flags that are around the waist. It's easy to get a finger caught in a pocket and get that finger broken. So we do not allow pockets on shorts or pants, and metal cleats are also not allowed. Again, for your safety, all jewelry must be removed before the start of the game. This includes piercings, rings, necklaces, bracelets, anklets, rubber bands. Anything we consider jewelry that's talked about here is illegal to be worn. You cannot participate with any jewelry, the only exception being a medical alert bracelet or necklace, which must be taped down. It is your responsibility as team captain to make all of your teammates aware of the game rules for flag football. Games will consist of 4 10-minute quarters with a running clock, except for the last 2 minutes of the 2nd and 4th quarters. There will be 7 players on the field at a time for men's and powder puffs and 8 for co-rec. And again, in the last 2 minutes of each half, the clock will stop on all dead balls, changes of possession, timeouts, things like that, just like in a high school football game timing rules. Teams can use any legal game ball that is approved by the referee, and both teams do not have to use the same game ball. Men's leagues shall use the regular size ball, and in powder puff and co-rec games, a regular, intermediate, youth, or junior size football can be used. At the beginning of the game, there will be a coin toss or rock, paper, scissors, something like that. The winning team of the coin toss will get to choose whether to start on offense, start on defense, defer that decision to the second half, or choose which side they would like to defend to start the game. Once you get out there playing, the field will be lined at 20-yard intervals and a total of 80 yards from goal line to goal line. These lines will represent first down markers and zone line to gains. So when you're in one zone, you will have 4 downs to get to the next zone to gain. If you cross that line, it'll be a first down, and then you have 4 more downs to get to the next line as you work your way down the field. There are no kickoffs in intramural flag football, teams will begin with the ball on their own 14-yard line to begin a half or a score. Otherwise, we will play with punts. So, teams can punt the ball on 4th down. If you don't want to try and go for it, the official will ask you whether you want to go for it and try and get the line to gain, or you want to punt and play the field possession game. You must declare your intention to the referee prior to the 4th down. If you select the punt, make sure your players do not cross the line of scrimmage until the ball is kicked, as that is a violation, and there are no fair catches in intramural flag football. Following the ready for play signal, whistle blown by the referee, no player on either offense or defense may encroach the 1-yard neutral zone. These will be marked by a green and a red puck cone out on the field, designating that 1-yard neutral zone that nobody may go into until the ball is snapped. If somebody does, the play will be immediately blown dead, and it is a dead ball penalty of 5 yards. At the time of the snap, the offensive team must have at least 4 players, and that's 5 in co-rec, on the line of scrimmage at the time of the snap. The line judge will let teams know when their line is good, so if you look to the side of the field where the line judge is, the referee will have his or her hand up and will drop his or her hand when the line is good, and will verbalize line is good for the players to hear on the field. If this isn't adhered to, it is a live ball penalty, 5-yard illegal procedure. When you snap, the person receiving the snap must always be at least 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage and cannot receive a hand-to-hand snap. The person receiving the snap does not need to be directly in line with the center, but must be at least 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. For the center, the snap must be one single continuous motion backwards, and it is not required to go through the center's leg. Team scoring a touchdown will get 6 points. Once you score a touchdown, you can go for an extra point or extra points, and your options are listed there. 1-point try from the 3-yard line, 2-point try from the 10, and 3-point try from the 20. You have 1 attempt to get it into the end zone from that distance for that amount of points. If there's an interception or a fumble on a try, the ball becomes dead immediately and the try is over. To block in flag football, because it is no contact, blocking shall take place without purposeful contact. The blocker must keep his or her hands and arms at his or her side or behind his or her back. Any use of the hands, arms, elbows, legs, any of that stuff to initiate contact by the offense or the defense is illegal. Flag football is to be played with minimal contact. We understand that when you have bodies running around, there will be contact made, but players are to avoid contact whenever possible. Some legal incidental contact may occur, like I talked about, but most contact will be judged on an advantage-disadvantage basis, much like a block charge in basketball or a play-on in soccer. When you have the ball and you're carrying the ball, you shall not use your hands, arms, or the ball to block your flags from being pulled if a defender is attempting to. That's called flag guarding. Examples of this include but are not limited to placing or swinging the hand or arm over the flag belt, placing or swinging the ball over the flag belt, lowering the shoulder, which places the arm over the flag belt. This is a live ball penalty, 10 yards, flag guarding, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. A lot of players have problems with this and don't understand exactly the flag guarding rule. Please ask the officials on your field or a supervisor if you are unclear, because in the national running motion, it is easy to put those elbows or the ball down over the flags, and that is a flag guarding penalty. The best way to avoid this is to run with the ball extended straight out in front of you. If we have a lopsided game, we have a mercy rule to end the game early. If a team is ahead by 19 or more points at the 2-minute warning of the 4th period in men's or powder puff, that game is over. If it's a co-rec game, that number is 25 points at the 2-minute warning of the 4th period or any time thereafter. Some differences in co-rec: requires 8 players instead of 7 like we talked about. An offensive male runner cannot advance the ball across his team's line of scrimmage. So if you hand it off to a male behind the line of scrimmage, or a male catches it behind the line of scrimmage, he cannot advance that ball through the line of scrimmage. Additionally, there cannot be 2 consecutive male-to-male pass completions. After the first male-to-male pass completion, the next forward completion must involve either a female passer or a female receiver. And that play has to be for positive yardage in order to allow the next one to be male-to-male. As we talked about, if a female passer completes to a male behind the line of scrimmage and he runs across the line, that is an illegal forward pass penalty, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, and a loss of down. If a female is involved with a touchdown, either by passing, catching the ball, or running the ball across the goal line, the value of that touchdown is worth 9 points. Some commonly misunderstood rules in flag football: the ball can hit the ground on a punt and be returned legally as long as it isn't muffed by the receiving team. And so the ball is not dead when it hits the ground on a punt. Defenders cannot wave their hands, arms in front of a receiver's face. That is a defensive pass interference penalty, 10 yards from the previous spot if the offense accepts it. And pass interference can be called regardless of whether or not the pass is catchable in our flag football leagues. If you want to play a bunch of intramural sports, you can take part in our Buffalo Wild Wings Intramural Sports Points Championship. There's no registration required other than registering for a bunch of sports. The way this works is points are awarded to each team that participates in each sport throughout the intramural sports season. They are awarded based on each team's finishing position, and all you have to do is keep the same team name exactly the same through all sports that you participate in. You will accumulate these points. We will make updates on our website, post them at Buffalo Wild Wings, post them outside of our office with standings periodically throughout the year so you know where you stand. We will award champions in each division of men's, women's, fraternity, sorority, and co-rec. Each winning team gets a cool championship trophy, a $100 gift certificate to Buffalo Wild Wings downtown Iowa City, and up to 20 Buffalo Wild Wings champion t-shirts. So it's a great way to get involved. You can use the eCheckUp2Go program to get your money back for all these sports or events that you enter, and you can make a run at this championship. Our flag football season is sponsored by Champion Brand, and they are providing us with double dry performance shirts for 15 teams, as well as championship t-shirts for our champions at the end of the year. What do those free t-shirts look like? They say champion on the front, have team name on the back. You can get them in 4 colors: red, black, royal blue, or navy. Again, team names are printed on the back. Up to 15 shirts available per team, and they are numbered 1 through 15. To get these shirts, the first 15 teams that register for shirts at championsofintramurals.com using that website and selecting Iowa will receive those t-shirts shipped to them, and they can wear them during the intramural sports season. Again, cool shirts free of charge. If you want to compete against other teams at other schools, you can go to the Region 5 Flag Football NERSA Regional Tournament hosted by the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. That is November 7th through 9th, 2014. If you have any questions about this, feel free to contact our office. Now that you've watched this video, make sure you pass the captain's quiz and you do the rest of these things to complete your registration. Meet the minimum player requirement, pay the registration fee, select a day and time for your regular season games, and all this must be completed by 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday, September 3rd. If you're looking for a team, you want to play flag football, don't have enough teammates, we will have a free agent meeting on Wednesday, September 3rd at 2 p.m. in 201 Fieldhouse. At this meeting, you can meet other players interested in playing. If you're a captain, you can fill out your roster using free agent players that come to this meeting. If you're going through registration and all of our spots are full on imleagues.com, you can complete your registration through the minimum roster requirement. You won't be able to pay if all the divisions are full. Then you come to this waitlist meeting on Thursday, September 4th at 2 p.m. in 201 Fieldhouse. We will open more divisions and get as many teams possible into our leagues. Intramural Sports offers a Friday night series of events. All of these events are free for your participation. You just have to sign up in advance on imleagues.com. Fall semester, we have kickball, bowling, mini golf, team handball, canoe battleship, which was a hit last year. Spring will have wiffle ball, inner tube water polo, volleyball, late night softball, and another round of canoe battleship at the end of the spring semester. If you have any questions about anything intramural sports related or anything flag football related, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to help you out. You can contact us at 319-335-9292 or email us intramural-sports@uiowa.edu. Follow us on Facebook, or friend us on Facebook at Iowa Intramurals, and follow us on Twitter at Iowa Intramurals. Good luck this season.